Hey, it's Uncle Josh. We're back on Uncle Josh Gaming, playing some Wasteland 2 Director's Cut. And, we left off clearing out this, outer field area.
What are you waiting for? Come inside!
And we're about to go inside of the, Egg Center Central Complex. A tall woman with dark skin and high cheekbones. She wears a white lab coat and has her black hair pulled back in a no-nonsense bun, through which she has stuck a much-chewed pen. She does not look happy to see you.
Rangers, where have you been?
Ms. Lawson, meet the new recruits. Recruits, meet Ms. Lawson.
Forget the friendly introductions, Angie. Wasn't the deal we made with the Rangers, we give you food, you give us protection? Well, your recruits are looking pretty goddamn well fed, but we've been up to our tits in killer tomatoes for 8 hours, and not a Ranger in sight.
You should take it from here, recruits. Learning to deal with angry citizens is part of the job.
We are investigating a distant signal and need to use your radio dish. Can you tell us where it is?
You want to use our radio dish now? Can you see we're in the middle of a fucking crisis? Fuck you. Go find it yourselves.
We'll use the kiss ass here, and we won't use the dish before we save your people. We promise. We just want to know where it is.
All right, fine. Doesn't matter anyway. The plants overwhelmed the damn thing about 20 minutes ago. We haven't been able to call out since. You want to check it out? It's in the greenhouse just down the hall to the west.
What do you think of the Desert Rangers? Matt sure talks you all up, but so far, you're about as impressive as a wet fart. Who's Matt Forrestal? He's the man in the wheelchair at the monitor desk. Hey, Rangers. He's the one who called Rangers Citadel 8 hours ago. He was hurt. The plants have begun growing strange exploding pods, and he got caught in a blast. His whole left side is a mess. Tell me about the exploding pods.
As if the rest of this craziness wasn't enough, the plants are also starting to explode. Get too close to one of those red pods and bam! Come to think of it, everyone who's changed into one of those pod people got blasted first. If I could get one of those pods to study, intact, I might be able to come up with a cure. You'll need to move slow and careful to get close to the pod without setting it off. If one of you greenhorns has a green thumb, that might come in handy too. I suppose a handful of fragments of pods, let's say 10, would do the trick, if you can't manage to collect a whole one. If we don't find a cure, the infection will surge back and we'll all be dead.
What went wrong with the plants? Rose thinks it started with some contamination in the fertilization system. She also thinks it's deliberate sabotage. I hate to think that, but whatever it is, all the vegetation is growing out of control and mutating. The insects too. They're enormous. Giant insects? How big are we talking? I saw a fruit fly as big as a bald eagle. It had a stinger, like a fucking scimitar. You think someone from Egg Center is behind this? I hope not. I don't want to think that anyone here would do this. We're a happy family. We all want the same thing, to make the wasteland green again. Killer tomatoes? And killer pumpkins. And killer fruit flies. All of a sudden, all our plants started growing out of control, mutating, exploding, attacking my people. It's like they've gone rabid or something. Didn't you hear our distress call? We've been calling for help forever. Your people are in danger? Matt and Rose and I managed to get to safety, but the others. Who else is in trouble? The researchers and the farmers. They're still out in the fields and greenhouses. We've been watching them dying one by one on the monitors, while you butterballs have been all off somewhere circle jerking each other. And for some of them, it's been even worse. What could be worse than death? You saw her. The thing that you met out front? She was one of my assistants. All of them were our people. And now they're... I don't know what they are. Pod people? You have a monitor system? Yes, the whole facility is rigged with cameras and an intercom through the plant, though the plants have wrecked it in places. It's been horrible seeing what's going on and not able to help. Tell us the layout of the facility. East and west greenhouses, where we do most of our testing, are in this building. The west field, where we grow our fruits and veggies, and the east field, which has grazing for our animals, and quarters for the farmers, are in the big enclosures on either side. They're probably all destroyed by now. What happened to the farmers? I've been watching them dying for hours. I know those men. They were good friends, and now they're gone. What happened to the researchers? The researchers were in the greenhouses mostly. A lot of the cameras were obscured by plant growth, so I don't know what happened to them. But there were terrible screams. What can you tell me about Rose? Rose is our best researcher. She is in her lab trying to find out what went wrong. But even if she figures it out, she's an old lady. There's no way she could go in there to fix it. That's why we called the Rangers. Tell me about the lab. Our research lab. When we experiment with new breeds, where we experiment with new breeds, is down the hall to the east. Well, we're here to help now, and ready to help.
About time. Now listen, we think the mutations stem from contamination in our irrigation system. Unfortunately, the computer that operates the pumps seems to be malfunctioning and we can't shut it off remotely. Maybe its circuits are overloaded from all the alarms going off. The computer is down the corridor past the airlock behind us. I can open that lock, but if you're gonna do your job and rescue our guys, see Rose. She has the current override codes for the greenhouse airlocks. Either way, we'll lead you to the computer room eventually. If you can get the computer working, you can shut down the pumps from there. If not, you'll have to go into the east and west fields and turn off the valves by hand. Now get going before any more of my people die.
What do you know about the computer?
Sometimes I think that thing is more trouble than it's worth. It's supposed to automate all our irrigation and feeding, but it seems to be, like, on the fritz most of the time.
No more options, so I guess we can hit goodbye.
Yes, go. Do your job. I'll open the central airlocks for you now, but remember, we might have people trapped in the greenhouses, so talk to Rose for the door codes.
Rangers, hot dog. I knew you'd come.
Cherry bomb is still poisoned. A lean, square-shouldered guy in a flannel shirt and jeans. He would look trim and healthy if his left arm and leg weren't all wrapped up in bandages, and his face all bruised and sliced up. He winces as he shifts around to look at you, but then gives a big grin as you approach. Matt, good to see you. Oh shit, what happened to you?
Hey, Angie. Got hit by one of those exploding pods.
Are you okay?
Oh, Kathy says she can fix me up. I hope so. Hurts like the dickens.
Take care, Matt.
I recognize the uniforms, but not the faces. Y'all must be new recruits. Hope this ain't your first dance, though, 'cause I got the feeling it ain't gonna be a walk in the park. Name's Matt Forrestal. I guess I'm the boss around here. Used to wear one of them stars, though, back in the day.
You used to wear the badge?
Yes, indeed. I was a ranger. Back before old Vargas's hair turned gray and Ace was just still a 3 of clubs. Quit to run the ag center after I took a bullet in the gut. Missed any organs, but I just couldn't move like I used to.
What can you tell me about Ag Center?
Damn proud of this place. Signed on here because I figured there were ways other than shooting bad guys that I could make the Wasteland a better place. And make a profit at the same time. Not doing too bad at it either. Got a little distribution deal with the rail nomads, and hopefully soon we'll be keeping the local communities fat and happy. Even Ranger Citadel. Of course, this little crisis might change all that. Serious setback.
What do you mean by distribution?
Well, the food ain't doing any good if it just sits here and rots, is it? I let the researchers figure out the best way of growing things. My job is to get it to the people.
Tell me about rail nomads.
Yeah, once they get themselves straightened out, we plan to use their rail lines to ship to all our customers. But until we can stop this crisis and make sure the food is safe again, nobody's gonna get fed.
Have you heard about Ace's death?
Yeah, I heard. Bet I knew before the Rangers did. Damn shame. Wish I could have gone to his retirement party. Hope you kids did him proud.
How do you know about Ace?
Heard about it from one of our farmers named Skinner. Said he talked to some wandering merchant who traveled with him and seen the attack. Recognized Ace by his description. That crazy hair of his.
Do you know anything about the attack that killed Ace?
Sorry. Wish I did. Skinner just said the merchant told him it was a strange man, but that was all. Maybe you can get more out of him.
Who was this merchant?
Don't know anything else about him. You're welcome to ask Skinner, if he's still alive.
What can you tell me about Skinner?
He helps cultivate the fungi in the mushroom caves. Good man, if a little too partial to snake squeezings. Last I saw of him, he was in the mushroom caves looking for his family right after the plants went loco.
Have any snake squeezins?
That's some foul stuff. Like gin that was made in a bathtub somebody died in. It does take the edge off from time to time, though.
Mushroom caves?
They're below the center. You can get to them through the computer room. Perfect for growing fungi down there.
How do you know about the crisis?
Don't know what happened exactly. Rose seems to think our irrigation system's been monkeyed with. Whatever it is, everything in the facility is mutating faster than we can keep track of. The plants are growing weird, exploding pods. The insects are as big as bear cats. Even the men. I don't know what they're turning into, but it's horrible. It's gotta be stopped.
What are these exploding pods?
They're red seed pods that explode when you get close to them. That's what happened to me. Tried to go in and pull one of the farmers out. Damn pod went off like a grenade. Still haven't got all the shrapnel out either. Stings like damnation.
How can we stop the outbreak?
Well, I don't know if we're gonna manage to find a way to reverse all this, but we gotta at least stop it from getting worse, and that means we gotta get that irrigation system turned off. You already talked to Kathy about that, right?
Tell me about Rose.
One of our researchers, a mentor to all the rest of us. think she's working down the hall to the left there.
What do you do as boss?
Normally, just keep everything organized and humming along. Today, get blown up, fail to help my people, I guess. Sorry, Rangers. I don't mean to be all self-pity and rain clouds. Just having a shitty day.
How are your people faring?
We've lost a lot of good ones, but I'm damn proud of everyone. We haven't had widespread panic. Tensions aren't spilling over too bad. Folks are doing their honest best trying to help where they can. If you find anyone as you make your way into the complex, I'll make sure you get commendations and compensation for helping them out.
How did you get hurt?
Got a little too close to one of those exploding pods. Now I got a little plant shrapnel souvenir. No big deal.
Do you have any supplies stocked up that we could use?
Things are a little paltry right now, but I've got some gear you can make use of.
We could buy some gear from them. We could sell junk, which I think I might do. Sold off all that junk for some scrap. Goodbye.
Thanks for coming by, Rangers. Always good to see new recruits taking their first steps into the big wide world.
Okay. Now if I hit hold down the Z or Z key, whichever you want to call it, depending where you are, you can highlight different items. We'll give the handgun 30 gauge ammo to Fade. Cherry Bomb can have that. Computer set of the Encyclopedia Botanica, plus assorted biographies of famous vegetables. The researcher took care to neatly organize the things before running for his life. Good, she's not poisoned anymore.
Howdy, recruits. How'd you doing there?
I'm still working at it. Target the object and shoot it. If you get too close, it'll turn into a pod person. Let Big Bert carry that.
Come in, Ranger Citadel! Come in, Scorpion HQ! This is Bergen again, calling from High Pool. We are still under attack. These damn wreckers are blowing us to pieces. Send help! Anyone! High Pool, this is Ranger Citadel. Our closest team is already answering a call at Ag Center, but they will try to reach you as soon as they can. You read me? Over. Yeah, Vargas. We've heard it all before. High Pool always comes last, doesn't it? Scorpions don't treat us like second-class citizens. The Scorpions don't move! Shit! Hit the deck!
So they're not doing too good, I guess. Verdant and unforgiving, this dense mass of vegetation has completely blocked the path. Unless it can somehow be weakened, nothing short of heavy artillery will get through. Well, that's not good. Okay. I'm gonna send in Big Bert. Got a locked door. Let's try lock picking. No, I'm not sure what I'm going to be walking into, so...
Howdy, recruits. How'd you doing there?
Okay, so we have some new quests. Matt Forrestal, Egg Center's lead administrator, asked us to locate and rescue any surviving researchers and farmers we discover as we work through the complex. Shut down the irrigation to halt the spread of infection. Kathy Lawson wants us to shut down the irrigation systems in the east and west fields to halt the progress of the contamination that's destroying Egg Center. Both fields can be reached through the basement, which is accessed from a room at the north end of the complex. Kathy Lawson, the lead researcher at Egg Center, has asked us to bring her samples of the exploding seed pods. She wants 10 pod fragments to study in pursuit of a cure.
What are you doing here? You still owe me a pod, remember? Matt's life and the lives of any of you sorry-ass rangers who got blasted depend on it. Clock's ticking, slowpokes. Have you managed to find one yet? Or a handful of fragments, at least?
Have pod fragments.
Great, we're getting there. Keep searching until you find enough for me to complete my research. 10 total should do it. Yes, go. Do your job.
Howdy, recruits. How'd you doing there?
Chances of successfully doing that are slim.
Kathy's office. Huh. I expected whips and handcuffs.
I'll leave that for now.
Don't touch anything!
Rose's old science junk gives me the willies. Rose also has a high-tech artificial left hand and a revolver peeking out from her lab coat.
If it isn't Dr. Rose. Still as creepy as ever, I see.
Hello, Angela, dear. Still as fearful and technophobic as ever, I see.
After what I've been through, can you blame me? Robot arms make me nervous.
Do you say the same to your old friend Gilbert? I understand he has a new leg now.
I hate that thing. I told him not to get it.
You would rather he was still lame?
Leave me alone.
Sorry to be so brusque, children. Everything in this room is an experiment in progress, and not to be disturbed. Now what can I do for you? I assume you're the help that Matthew and Catherine said was coming from the Ranger Citadel?
What do you think of the Rangers?
I know all about the Rangers. I've been around a long time, after all. I even remember when you took over the Citadel from its former occupants.
You know about the former occupants?
Oh yes, the Guardians of the Old Order. I suppose that was before your time. But they gave the Rangers quite a fight. Almost won, in fact. I'm sure your veterans will tell you all about it.
What can you tell me, or what can you tell us about the Guardians of the Old Order?
As I said, you should ask the other Rangers about them.
That's a pretty high-tech left hand you have.
Oh, that? I lost it in a gardening accident. A traveling doctor gave me the new one. Quite a gadget, isn't it?
What can you tell us about the doctor?
She said she was from the east of the old prison, which is odd now that I come to think of it. Radiation's closed off the way east for years.
Do you know how it works?
I'm a botanist, not an engineer. But it's almost as dexterous as the old one. I've gotten quite used to it. I wish I could say the same about the fuel cell that powers it.
Fuel cell? What's that?
I shouldn't have brought it up. I don't like to talk about it. It's some kind of high-tech power source. The unsettling thing is that the doctor implanted it in my chest. I have a glowing blue gem set right into my sternum. And no, you can't see it. I'm much too old to be flashing my lady bumps.
What kind of experiment were you doing?
We at the Ag Center are constantly looking for newer, safer ways to improve crop yield and wholesomeness. This lab is where that experimentation takes place.
What's your take on Catherine?
She's a bright young thing. I taught her all I know about plants and seeds, and she has gone on to outstrip me in every way. A sponge for knowledge. I hope she can figure out the root of this madness. It's got me stumped.
What do you know about this madness?
It has to be contamination in the irrigation system. We feed the plants a brew of nutrients through a series of pipes. I can only think that some strange toxin got into the mixture. Unfortunately, the computer that controls the system seems to be stuck in feed mode. And none of us who made it to the lobby is savvy enough to repair it.
What do you think of Matthew?
He's our fearless leader, and a dear, dear boy. Things have really improved here since he took over. I hope that exploding pod didn't do him any lasting damage. We need him now more than ever.
What can you tell us about the exploding pods?
Many of the plants are growing them now. They explode when you get near them. What's strange is some of the infected farmers and researchers are growing pods too, as if they were becoming plants as well. I don't understand it.
The researchers are in trouble?
Those men and women are some of my best friends. And now, I'm afraid they're changing just like the farmers. If you are willing to dare the greenhouses, you might be able to save some of them. I hope.
What can you tell us about the greenhouses?
The greenhouses are where we test new species. There's one on either side of the central corridor. I'm afraid a lot of my fellow researchers are trapped in there, if they haven't already transformed. I have the airlock codes to go in there, but I don't know if I'd dare. Not alone.
The farmers are infected?
You didn't see them out in the yard? You're lucky. They're attacking everything that moves. And I'm afraid the poor fellows in the east and west fields will be affected too.
I do have the airlock codes.
Yes, I have the greenhouse codes. But listen, I want to come with you. I need more samples if I'm going to make sense of this mess. If you let me come with you, I'll take you through the doors myself, and I can help you find your way around. And don't worry, I have a gun. I can take care of myself. What do you say?
A gun?
Every rose has its thorns, children. Mine's an antique. Can I join you?
Yes.
Excellent. Let me just turn this burner off and I'll be all ready. We can stock up from my lab supplies if you'd like.
Okay.
It may look disorganized in here, but I know where everything is.
Okay, so we'll let her have the energy cells, and we'll distribute. We'll give Big Bert the TNT. Fade can take the 38 ammo, and we'll distribute that. We'll give that stuff to Rose. A square-bound book, burnt and scarred around the edges by caustic chemicals, and much overlaid with coffee cup circles. The word journal is printed in big gold letters on the front cover. Collect the lab journal. So we're gonna save the game here. Just in case, because we're gonna attempt to pick this lock.
Be careful if you go in there. I asked one of our techs to secure some of my valuables. I don't think I have the skill to disable the rather aggressive countermeasures on the safe.
Okay, so looks like it's trapped. A reinforced personal safe with a combination lock on the swinging door. So we use demolitions. Okay, so she successfully used demolition. And we'll use... Oh, come on. Safecracking. Oh. Bunch of stuff. Okay. So we will give Fade the 30-06 ammo and the 38. Open choke. It's a weapon mod, so we'll give that to Angela Death. Animal Whisper. Give that to Fade. We'll give Rose the laser pistol. Big Bert can take the sap gloves and the TNT. So we're going to use the field medic I guess I can't. Well, that's not good. So there's nothing more we can get from here.
We shouldn't be in here. This is Catherine's office. Private.
Well, I'll listen to what she says, I guess.
Howdy, recruits. How'd you doing there?
This wooden door has seen better days. It is jammed and falling off the hinges, blocking your path. Some manual motivation might remove it. There's a pod in there.
Watch out for those pods, youngsters. They explode. Oh my! I consider myself unflappable, but that caught me off guard.
Big Bird can collect that. Give that to Angel of Death. We'll give the Spike Collar to Cherry Bomb. Rose can take that.
Rangers, I'm seeing one of our researchers near your position. Is that Winston? Help is coming, Winston.
A door, you've seen many like it, and it's booby-trapped. Save the game just in case we critically fail. Uncle Josh, let a pro handle this. Okay. There's not much I can do. At least not yet, anyway. I'll have to come back. And there's a toaster. I failed. Try it again. Hopefully don't critically fail. A 7-inch single. The slightly faded label on this 7-inch vinyl record reads, "Bad Mood Rising" by Creedence Clearwater Revival. What else is there? Except for one stray tome with a primary color spangled cover, Pup's Scout Fun Time Camping Guide. Okay. This is either a tub full of dirty dishes or an experimental mold farm. So I think I'm going to end things here, and then we will pick it up in the next one.